That's it. Well, like you touched on there, your injuries. Can you, being the Impaired Grappler podcast, can you touch on the injuries you've had and what modalities you've found, or what you've learnt from like rehab and what modalities work and all that sort of stuff?
I mean, man, the biggest injury that I've had is, a few years ago, I got hit by a fucking car, and from there, I had so many injuries, brain injuries, neck injuries, back injuries, knee injuries. And I mean, which I'm not going to lie, like, before that, earlier in my career, like, I've had injuries too, but like the last few years, I've actually like, I haven't gotten hurt from doing jiu-jitsu, and all, like my injury came, I'm actually like, I got really good because when I was younger, I got hurt, right? And then I got really good at not getting injured. And then I got fucking hit by a car and, just that throws things off. From there, I've never kind of really been the same physically. But I mean, for me, what would I recommend to jiu-jitsu players? The very first thing that I would recommend is strength and conditioning, right? Because when you look at jiu-jitsu, the components of jiu-jitsu, there's 3 pillars to jiu-jitsu. There's the physical, there's the mental, and there's the spiritual, right? But each one has all these different components. So obviously, if you look at the physical realm, there's the technique, right? Like you learn moves, you study moves, you drill moves. That's how you get good at jiu-jitsu, okay? But what's very important, your health. And like after that, strength and conditioning, then flexibility. I always say first, it's technique. Well, technically first, it's mental. There's a mental and there's a spiritual aspect, right? Like, then there's obviously there's the technique, right? But I feel like after the technique, strength and endurance are the most important attributes. And flexibility is important. I'm not denying flexibility. But for me, you see, I'm already like naturally flexible. So I didn't have to work that much at it.
And it's easier to maintain the longer you do it.
Yeah. I mean, everything is so, here's a little philosophical stuff. What you leave, it leaves you. So like what you stop doing, it leaves you. So that's why I always tell people, it doesn't matter what you're doing, whether it's jiu-jitsu, doesn't matter whether it's jiu-jitsu, weight training, flexibility, whatever. If you stop doing it, you lose. You always need, so like you need a certain amount to put in to make progress, but that's not the same for everybody. You know what I'm saying? That right there, it's not the same. Like, there's some guys that train hard, really, really hard once a day, and they win world titles, right? There's other guys that compete in that same bracket where that guy only trains hard, really, really hard once a day. And then those guys train really hard 3 times a day. But that guy that only trains hard once a day, he still wins. And the other guys, they're putting in more time than him. But why is he winning? You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people think it's like more time. More, it's not always better. That and by the way, that's so we talk about like We talk about like not getting injured, right?
Mm.
Or preventing injury. You have to find out what's your threshold. And also, too, that's going to change based on where you are in your life. You're like, what does that mean? Different things happen in life, and different things can either like make you better or worse, and based off of how you react to it.
Mm. Yeah, and if you're smashing yourself 3 times a day as well, like you need the recovery time, rest, recuperation, recovery, and yeah, especially like with the spiritual, like to get the spiritual side and the mental side in harmony with the physical side. If you're always going hard, then even your spiritual side needs to recover and recuperate, because our muscles don't build. Our muscles build while we're resting. They don't get built up while we're pumping iron and in the gym and working out or going.
Yeah, you definitely need time to recover. Like recovery is part of training. That's what a lot of people don't understand.
Mm.
Actually, for me, something that's really important, something that I learned in my career, I don't believe in overtraining.
Mm.
I only believe in under eating and under resting.
Yeah.
If you eat correct, and you sleep enough, you should not be overtrained.
Mm. Yeah.
That's the key right there. And by the way, another thing is that a lot of people that so everybody's different. For me, I change up my training.
Mm.
Like for example, right now I'm not training for a fight. My number one mission right now, since I have no fights coming up right now, I just don't. So I'm just focused on teaching, right? So when I'm teaching, I teach anywhere between 1 to 5 classes a day, right? When I'm teaching, I focus on training at least once a day in jiu-jitsu and at least once a day in strength and conditioning. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Usually 5 days a week, like right
Mm.
now. So like I'll do 5 jiu-jitsu, like right now, my current routine right now would be I do 5 jiu-jitsu sessions where I'm actually like drilling and sparring. And then there's all these other sessions where I'm just teaching. And then there's one where I'm lifting. But here's another thing too. Like a lot of my lifting is focused on me being healthy. And like I actually like my weightlifting is discussed between like how I'm feeling it. Like I have my chiropractor, I have my acupuncture. Like I by the way, I really think you should do chiropractic and acupuncture too. That's probably like the best thing for jiu-jitsu you can do for maintenance.
Mm.
I also think sauna is really important. Sauna and also cold plunge. I'll do that. I'll do that once every 2 weeks. I foam roll every day. Foam roll every day. Like I wake up and I foam roll. And also, the gun, the massage gun. That's really important for recovery too, man.
Mm.
So
Work out all those knots.
I mean, here's the truth. Like a lot of the times when like we're feeling hurt in jiu-jitsu, it's not the bone, it's the muscle. And it's the muscle that's causing pressure on the bone. Right.
Mm.
And what's also really good for people that have like neck or like back problems, like neck traction.
Mm.
So and like all these things that I'm telling you, you can't stop doing them. Like for example, for me, right? Every day, I don't wake up every day and be like, fuck yeah, man, I want to lift every day. It's not like that. There's days that I wake up that I'm like, I don't feel like doing this, but I then talk myself into do it. I always ask myself the same question. It's like, do you want to get better? It's like, yes. And then it's like, all right, well, you're not going to get better by not putting in work. But I will tell you something else though, too. As I've aged and, I'm training all my life. If I feel like I'm hurt, I'll train a little bit and then I'll stop. And then and I've actually gotten better like that, because there've been periods in my life where I've been really injured. Right. And all I've been able to do is weight training and flow rolling, or just weight training and lots of drilling. Cause for me, I'm when I'm doing jiu-jitsu, I always have to teach. In order to get better at jiu-jitsu, you have to drill, and you have to spar. You can't get better, right, at jiu-jitsu, because that's but then what else helps you is the strength and endurance. You know what I'm saying? That's why, by the way, that's why I'm so into kettlebells. And I always, because many times people ask me Denny, what's the best thing that I could do outside of jiu-jitsu? Well, kettlebells. And another thing that I would recommend to everybody, I recommend that you study jiu-jitsu. You study your favorite fighters, you watch them. And, that's really important.
Yeah, well, that
what other
spiritual.
questions do you have? What other questions do you have? So I've kind of gone off on tangents. I'm sorry if
no, that's
a little all over the place.
I actually prefer the tangents. That gives me less to do. And
I'm just trying to give you complete answers. I'm just trying to give you complete answers. My brain goes off in a million different directions. As I'm talking to you, I'm thinking 3 different fucking thoughts that I want to tell you.
Yeah.